Hey guys, Paon here in the Black Temple. Basically, we're running this on a night where really didn't have much going on. It was just a quick little run to get in. I did show a lot of this particular instance simply because I did not do this at level 70. And this is the first time I've been in here. First time I experienced any tier 6 content. I did a lot of tier 5. But nothing in tier 6. So this is actually a nice run for me. We did do this with 25 man, but we didn't have all 80s. We did have a few 70s and above. So most of the gear that's in here, you'll see that drops will go to really whoever can use it at that point, or it'll just be a bling roll. So we just downed High Warlord Nahitis. I guess that's his name. Other than that, he has a horseshoe swipe and some kind of impaling thing. I think where he impales you. It wasn't a bad fight. Really just a tank and spank right where he stands pretty much. So there was nothing really that you had to worry about with him. A lot of the loot, like I said, was things that we actually, could roll on. Everybody in here had an equal opportunity. There were some that needed a few of the gear, so of course they got first dibs. I'm main tanking this right now, so my perspective is going to be from the tanking aspect of it. This instance, I think, was probably the most challenging instance at level 70. You had to be on your top game to do this one. This next guy, Supremus, the next boss here, I got kind of in the middle of the fight. I really didn't get all of the fight, but he has a pretty damaging molten punch that actually will damage everybody. I guess he punches the ground and it damages everyone that make contact with it. And he has a hateful strike which does quite a bit of damage. And you see that we did lose a couple people, but for the most part it was the lower levels that we really lost. It wasn't more of the 80s. So it wasn't too bad. Rezzed him, rezzed them, and moved on to the next boss. Now this boss here, I think is Shade, and out of all of them, I want to say this one was the neatest one. It kind of puts you in the mind of like the summoner, kind of boss where he's being possessed by and held by the demons around him. But a pretty easy fight nonetheless. I didn't show much of that one because it wasn't really that interesting. However, I did want to show this part here simply because that when you run out, this is like the main corridor, the main hallway that leads to like everything. I wanted to show this simply because there was so much around. It was kind of like doing Wings of Nax. I guess many of the guilds that came in here did this over 3-4 days. Some guilds maybe 1 or 2, but a wing at a time in probably a couple days was about all most people did. But it was neat to look at all the different art that went into it, all the different thought process that went into it. So we're going up this stairs here. I'm going to pull this little trash mob here, just to kind of show you what we've been doing. We basically run up here. I'll AoE down, and you'll see just everybody AoEs pretty much because we had more AoE, I think, than we had actual melee, which made it quite nice because we just ran through this instance like crazy. For the guys that was waiting for this video to come out, I'm sorry it took so long. I'm glad that I could get this going though and get this posted. I'm sorry that I have to break it up into 2 simply because it's just quite long. And there was so much more that I wanted to show, but I just knew that it was going to be too long of a video. So I did have to break this up into 2 parts, and I promise you I will have part 2 coming out. When you come in here and you look at all the mobs, I mean, just the potential for, a level 70 wipe is just unbelievable. I imagine saps and traps and, you know, all that was basically a must-have in here. We'll sap this, we'll trap this one. So, again, it was kind of nice to come in here at level 80 and just wipe the floor with as much as we could. And as you guys know, I mean, I went right from, as soon as I could get into, Lich King, I went right from Lich King, or right from Burning Crusade right into Lich King. I really didn't spend much time in leveling up my reputation with a lot of the factions, which I look back now and kind of regret. However, I was just in fast mode trying to get to as much content as I could. So it's real simple. We run in here and just AoE them down. These are some of the big mobs that was in here at the time. These guys here are some pretty. Even though that they're, we have the level advantage, they do hit really hard. So it's really still a challenging fight for anyone, level 80 that just maybe hit level 80. You have to almost get some really decent gear and run this instance to, with quite a few 80s that are pretty geared to run quickly. From here, I'm just showing you some of the footage of the trash. And I was shocked at how many epics actually dropped. The epics that dropped into this instance, I don't know if it was because we were pulling so many and killing them so fast, but they were just dropping epics. They were dropping epics, and they were dropping, gear like crazy out of here. You saw I guess they're called pyrostones, or those stones there, those epic stones. Now those were actually really valuable. Of course, they're still valuable, but they're not quite as valuable as they used to be. And of course, the Marks of Illidan, no matter which one faction you're with, Aldor or Scryer, they definitely came in handy for you. They raised your reputation up, and everybody wanted to roll on those. I just remember my guild actually getting, as many as they could. I jumped over to the next boss in Terran Gorefeld Fiend, and not a hard fight, but he does hit quite a bit of, he does hit quite hard. He's got a nasty Incinerate and a Shadow of Death, which actually will debuff to a random player. It actually passes, I believe, from player to player. So it wasn't a hard fight, but he does do a lot of damage if you're not careful, I guess, is the best way to describe it. There's some of the gear that dropped. I tried to do the best I could to show some of the gear, to see what, it would look like. The next boss in this one is Gurtog, and he hits really hard, and has what's it called? It's some kind of acid breath you'll see here, which actually inflicts nature damage, and I think it's probably one of the most nasty thing that he really has. He also enrages, or has some kind of fury, which will enable him to enrage, and that will cause a lot of the damage. That'll increase his attack speed, of course, too. So, other than that, he has a smash and a wound, and I think it's a bewildering strike, which confuses the target, which, me, I hate being stunned or anything like that, or where I'm just walking around not in control of the character. That bothers me. You'll see here he enrages. With that, every melee strike, I think he has a chance to enrage. And when he does that, you want to get him down as fast as you can. Also, you want to make sure that you have, poison control on, I guess, as best as you can, just so that you can get out of the acid breath. So once we loot him up, get everybody rezzed that needed to be rezzed, we're going to run up the stairs. And pull this other guy here. More trash mob for everybody. I really like this instance, guys. I do want to do more of this tier 6 instance. I want to get into this one again. I want to do another run of or I'd like to do a run of Hyjal and another run of this, simply because those are the two that I never really got to run much, and would like to really run and get really good at. This next piece is just really the hallway to the next boss, which is the one that has all the different faces, which I gotta say was probably one of the most difficult fights in this instance, other than Illidan himself. So what you're gonna see is basically the trash leading up to him. Or her, I guess. We wanted to AoE these down as quickly as we could, and when you come up here to this next part, you'll see that we actually down the we try to down the entire room of ghosts, simply because you don't want to have that many ghosts sitting up. They will attack once you hit the boss. They will start coming down and attack. Well, guys, I just want to say thanks for watching. I do have part 2 coming out. It will be coming out real shortly, I'd say. And as always, if you like what you see, hit subscribe. I will have more videos coming out in the future. Thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy.